Max Sterling, welcome to LarpMix. A lot of us play vampire type games, and sometimes we have need at our other LARPs for fake blood. And I'm not talking about fake blood you would use on your costume, or something you'd use with a prop, or something you would use for some sort of effect in your game. I'm talking about you need to pour yourself a glass of blood to drink it. You're doing a ritual, you're at some sort of art exhibit as your vampire character, and you're drinking blood, whatever. There are a lot of edible, or we'll call food safe bloods out there that you can make, and a lot of people make them out of corn syrup and stuff, but they just don't taste good. I mean, it's not like they're made out of kerosene or something, so it's not going to kill you to drink it. It just doesn't taste very good. And if you're going to be playing a game where you need to drink fake blood, why not make something that tastes good? So that's what we're going to do here, is we're going to make some fake blood that looks like the real thing and tastes pretty good too. Now, I don't drink, so this is going to be non-alcoholic. I mean, but you can feel free to add to it if you care to. And as far as the ingredients, everything's vegan. There's no sort of animal products involved. It's basically just sugar and pure chemicals and poison. But there are no animal products involved. The only bad thing is the high amount of sugar. So if you have diabetes or something with blood sugar, you want to keep that in mind if you're drinking something like this. But aside from that, it should be something everyone can enjoy. Now, as far as blood, a lot of people think that blood is different colors, but the truth is blood is just red, okay? If it comes from the surface, it's a bright red because there's a lot of oxygen in it. If it comes from deep within, it's a darker red because most of the oxygen has been depleted. Blood's red because there's iron in it, and oxygen binds to that iron molecule, and that's what makes it red. So you don't really want to add blues or yellows or other weird colors or browns to it. If it's supposed to be an old blood, then you could mess around with browns and yellows and other colors. But if you're talking about fresh blood that just came out and you're going to drink this, it would be bright red or a little bit darker red. What I'm going to do here is attempt to sort of straddle the middle there, where if you're in a dimly lit area, it's probably going to look dark. If you're in a bright room, it's going to look a little bit brighter, but it's not so bright that it's like a stereotypical fake blood, but not so dark that it's sort of lost in translation. So like I said, we're going to try to straddle the line here and just get a really good tasting blood analog going on here. And one of the things we're going to use is simple syrup. Now, like I said, I don't drink, but I used to be a bartender, and one thing that we used a lot was this simple syrup, which is just sugar dissolved in water. I also have some grenadine, which is basically high fructose corn syrup with a bunch of crap added to it, but it is red. And like I said, some Kool-Aid, some food coloring. So let's go ahead and we're going to start with just some simple syrup. And I'm going to do a close-up here so you can sort of see the consistency of this, because this is already a very good consistency for blood. And the grenadine as well. It runs a little bit easier than this does, but this is fairly thick. And with the Kool-Aid and stuff, you're probably not even going to have to add any sugar if you do this, and you probably won't have to add any water either. So let's go ahead and do a close-up and see what we're looking at. Now, I know this is probably going to be hard to tell, but let me go ahead and pour some of this simple syrup into here. And I'm just going to do this so we can do a small batch so you can see the consistency. But when this comes out, it's actually more like a syrup than it is any sort of water. If you can see it sort of moving in that dish there, you can see that it's not really like a water. It's more like a thicker type of liquid. And we have this in here now. It's almost like an oil. And then we're going to add a little bit of Kool-Aid here. Now I have black cherry Kool-Aid that we're going to put in this for starters, because it's going to taste good and it's a little bit darker red to start with. And because we're just doing a small batch here, I'm just going to sort of put a little bit in, and then we'll go ahead and just sort of mix that up for ourselves here. And you can see that it's already definitely a red color. Now, what I would do is take some food coloring here, and like I said, we're just doing a small batch, and we're just going to put 1 drop of red in here to darken up that red a little bit. And this is something where you can play around with it on your own, but I'm going to give you a good base here to work off of. And you can see just if it's on this blade, sort of how it doesn't really run, it just stays there. And if it does run, you know, it's pretty convincing. Now it's a little gritty, obviously, from the Kool-Aid being in there, but that'll wear down in time. And you know, if you got on your finger, I mean, I would say that that's not too bad. Now, when you taste it, it is very cherry and it is very sweet. But what I want to do is actually make a full container full of this drink that people can use. Now, I also have just regular cherry here, which I more or less got just in case it wasn't sweet enough. And then the grenadine is just to add a little bit additional flavor as well. So what we'll do is go ahead and mix up a full batch of this, and I'm just going to use a shaker cup to do that so I can keep it in here. And let me go ahead and mix that up, and we'll take a look at what the finished product actually looks like here. And in just a few minutes, we have our blood. Now, I shook this up because there's Kool-Aid in it, so there's a little bit of froth on top, but that'll settle down. And then this is, you know, basically what we're looking at, if you can see it in there without me spilling it. And I would say, I think that it's pretty decent looking. So when you look at it in here, it's nice and thick, it coats. I might add a little bit more red to it. I mean, and you can, you know, make your own call, like I said, but, you know, if you get it on you, it's thick and it's very sweet. Now, obviously, if you don't like cherry flavored Kool-Aid, then, you know, this might not be the thing for you, but I would say you could probably drink a shot glass of this or sip on a glass of it, and you know, it would be enjoyable as opposed to, you know, eating a bunch of corn syrup or something, just straight up with food coloring in. So try it out. If you have your own recipe, be sure to comment below. Let me know what you've tried in the past. I think that this will work good. I added the grenadine just because I'm submitting this in a competition tomorrow for tasting. If it wasn't for that, I probably would not have added the grenadine. It just would have been Kool-Aid and simple syrup to keep it easy, you know, with some food coloring. But I wanted to give it a little bit of a different taste than maybe what some other folks are doing. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close this up, and then basically I would say you could serve it at room temperature, or, you know, if you just want to make it cold, you could do that as well. It all depends on, you know, really the immersion level of the game you're trying to do. If you're trying to get this to be really real, then, I mean, you're going to want to tweak this a little bit to make it taste a little bit more like blood as well. But if it's just going for the look of it, then something like this would be fine. I would suggest chilling it. Be aware that this will stain. My fingers are red, so if you're wearing white, don't get this on you. This will probably not wash out. Just fair warning. This is not something that you want to spill on yourself. So if you have a glass of this, drink it carefully. It'll probably give you a red tongue and lips as well. But what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put this inside of this bottle, decanter, whatever you want to call it, that I have. And this is an old, I don't know if this was an old like oil or vinegar bottle, or if this was an old alcohol bottle. I think it had alcohol in it at one point in time. So this is food grade glass. It's not, you know, something with lead in it. So I hope you like this. Give this recipe a shot. If you're playing a game where you need some fake blood, go ahead and give it a go. Please like, subscribe, and of course, as always, adventure on. Oh man, I can't wait to check this out. So sweet. It's got electrolytes.